Number 15. When people think of classic horror films, A Nightmare on Elm Street often appears at the top of the list. This movie introduced Freddy Krueger, a figure so terrifying that even the thought of him can send chills down your spine. But there is something unusual about the film that many fans still talk about today. It has nothing to do with Freddy's glove or the dream sequences. Instead, it's the title of the movie itself that has become part of a strange shared memory, one that fits right into the world of the Mandela effect. For years, many people have argued over what the title really was. A large number of viewers clearly remember it as Nightmare on Elm Street, without the word A at the start. They claim they saw movie posters, old VHS covers, and even theatre signs that showed the simpler title. It felt cleaner, scarier, and more direct to them. Some even say they can picture the font, the placement of the words, and how that missing A made the title seem sharper. But when you look back at the records, the facts tell a different story. Every official poster, every film credit, and every piece of promotional material from the first release has the full title, A Nightmare on Elm Street. The A has always been there. It was never dropped, not in official listings, not on covers, and not on the film itself. This discovery leaves many fans puzzled. How could so many people remember it differently? Why does this small word cause so much confusion? Some say that people just naturally dropped the A when they talked about the movie because it was quicker and easier to say. Others believe that store shelves or newspaper ads might have shortened the title to fit space, and that image stuck in people's minds over time. But no one has found proof that the simpler title ever existed in an official way. That's where the Mandela effect comes in. The Mandela effect describes moments where large groups of people remember something that never happened, or they remember it differently than what records show. It's like the brain creates a shared false memory. In this case, that false memory is a title that many are sure they saw, but that no one can actually find. What makes this even stranger is how certain people are. They don't just think the title was different. They know it. They feel it. They would bet on it. And yet, the evidence says otherwise. There are plenty of ideas about why this happens. Maybe it's because people heard the title said quickly, over and over, and their brain trimmed it down. Maybe it's because the mind likes simple, strong names and reshaped the title that way. Or perhaps, as some like to believe, it's a sign of something bigger, a slip between realities, a change in the timeline, something we don't fully understand. What's clear is that this small detail has sparked endless debates. Fans go back to their old collections, look at old posters, and re-watch the movie, trying to find a trace of the title they remember. But they always find the same thing, A Nightmare on Elm Street. That little word has always been there, whether we noticed it or not. This case is just one example of how memory can play tricks on us. It makes you wonder what else we believe we saw or heard that might not match the facts. And in the world of horror, where so much depends on what we think we see, that thought is truly chilling. Next time you look at the title of this famous film, take a moment to think about it. Does it look right to you? Or do you still feel that something is missing? That's the power of the Mandela effect. It doesn't just change how we remember things. It makes us question what is real at all. Number 14.
Have you ever heard of Candyman?
Candyman is a figure who haunts not only the screen, but also the minds of those who have seen the film. His story blends urban legend and horror in a way that makes him unforgettable. But beyond the tale itself, beyond the chilling voice and the bees, there is one detail about Candyman that has puzzled viewers for years: his hook. When people picture Candyman, they see him standing tall, a dark coat draped over him, and that hook glinting in the light. But where is that hook? Here's where the Mandela effect comes into play. A surprising number of fans remember Candyman's hook being on his left hand. They are certain of it. They recall scenes where he lifts his left arm, the hook catching the light in just the right way. They picture him using that left hook to reach out, to strike fear, to claim his victims. The memory is so vivid that they can describe it in detail, as if they saw it only yesterday. But when you go back and watch the film today, you'll find something different. Candyman's hook is on his right hand. It's always been on his right. Every scene, every moment, every bit of official material shows it on his right. This discovery leaves fans scratching their heads. How could they have remembered it so differently? Why do so many people share this false memory? Some believe it's because of mirrored images in promotional material or flipped frames that appeared in trailers. Others think their minds flipped the image without them realizing it. But no one has found evidence of a version of the film where the hook was on the left hand. It's as if the memory formed on its own, without anything to support it. This detail has led to deep conversations among horror fans. They gather on forums, in comment sections, and at conventions, trying to make sense of it. They compare memories, searching for clues as to why so many of them remember it wrong, and each time they come up empty-handed. The Mandela effect shows how our minds can twist what we see. A small change, like which hand holds a hook, becomes a shared false memory. What makes this case so unsettling is not just the mix-up, but the confidence people have in what they remember. They aren't guessing, they believe it with all their hearts. Some say the reason could be psychological. The mind may favor certain images because they fit better with how we picture monsters or threats. Others say it's about camera angles and lighting, making the hook appear to be on the left in certain scenes. And of course, some suggest it could be a sign of something larger, a slip between worlds, or a change in reality that left only our memories as evidence. Whatever the cause, Candyman's hook continues to be a source of mystery, and in the world of horror, that only makes him more frightening. Number 13. Dracula is one of the most well-known figures in horror. His image has appeared in films, books, posters, and costumes for generations. Most people can describe him without even thinking. He is tall, dressed in dark clothes, and wears a cape that adds to his powerful, shadowy look. But here's where the Mandela effect shows itself. Many fans of classic vampire films, especially the ones with Bela Lugosi, remember Dracula's cape as having a bright red lining. They talk about how the red would flash when he moved or when he spread the cape wide. They describe posters and movie scenes where that color stood out against the black of his outfit, making him seem even more striking. They are sure they saw it, and the image sticks in their minds like a memory that refuses to fade. But if you go back and look at those classic films, you'll notice something different. The cape doesn't have that red lining. It's dark, plain, without the dramatic splash of color people remember. In the black and white films, the cape blends with the rest of his clothes. Even in promotional materials from the time, there's no sign of that red interior. This discovery surprises fans who could have sworn they saw that vivid red. They wonder if they mixed it up with stage plays or later adaptations. Maybe it was in posters or Halloween costumes that added the red for extra flair. Or perhaps their minds filled in the color because it felt right for the character. A noble vampire, a figure who stood out from the shadows. This small detail has sparked countless conversations. People compare memories, look through old merchandise and rewatch films, hoping to find proof that the red lining existed, but the proof never appears. What's left is the shared memory that doesn't match the facts. The Mandela effect makes us question how we form memories and why so many people remember the same false detail. Maybe it's because the red seemed to fit the drama of the character. Maybe it's because modern versions of Dracula added the red and over time that version blurred into the classic image. Or maybe it's something deeper, a slip between versions of reality, a sign that not everything is as solid as it seems. Whatever the reason, the mystery of Dracula's cape remains, and like the vampire himself, it haunts those who think about it. Number 12. The Omen is a film that has chilled audiences since the day it was released. At the center of the story is Damien, a boy with a dark destiny, and one of the most memorable and terrifying details about him is his birthmark. It is said to be a mark of pure evil, a cluster of sixes hidden beneath his hair, placed where no one would think to look. But when fans talk about this birthmark today, the memories don't always match what's in the film. Many people swear they remember the birthmark being placed behind Damien's ear or at the base of his skull. They say they can still picture the exact scene where the mark is found, where the camera zooms in on that spot and shows the chilling symbol. They describe the horror on the faces of the characters who discover it. They can feel the tension in that moment, as if they saw it just yesterday. But when you go back and watch the movie, the birthmark isn't where people remember. In fact, it's hidden on the top of Damien's head beneath a patch of hair. The camera never lingers on it the way people think. The reveal is quick, almost rushed, and the symbol isn't as clear as many recall. This leaves viewers puzzled. How could they have such a strong memory of something that didn't happen? Why do so many people share the same false image in their minds? Some say it's because later films or remakes showed the mark differently, and over time those versions mixed into their memory of the original. Others think the mind simply filled in the blanks, creating a clearer, more dramatic image than what was actually there. This birthmark mystery has become one of the most talked about Mandela effect moments tied to horror films. Fans debate it online, in podcasts and at conventions, sharing their memories and searching for proof that matches what they recall, but that proof remains missing. The Mandela effect shows us how easily memory can shift, especially when fear and tension are involved. When a scene is as intense as that one, the mind might sharpen or change certain details, locking in a memory that feels real even when it isn't. And in the case of The Omen, that false memory just makes Damien's story feel even more chilling. People are left wondering what other details of the film, or of their own lives, they might have remembered differently without ever realizing it. Number 11. Beetlejuice is a movie that has thrilled and amused audiences since its release. It's known for its strange humor, creative design, and the unforgettable title character. But even the name of this ghostly figure has become a Mandela effect mystery. Many fans remember the title spelled as Beetlejuice, the name of the star in the night sky. They claim they saw movie posters, DVD covers, and advertisements that used that spelling. The memory is so clear that some can even describe the exact font or layout where they saw it. They picture the strange spelling as part of what made the film stand out, part of its odd charm. But when you look at the official title on posters, movie boxes, and credits, it has always been Beetlejuice. The simpler spelling was chosen for marketing, making it easier to read and say. The character's name inside the film is inspired by the star, but the title itself uses the easier form. So why do so many fans remember it the other way? Some think it's because the character's gravestone in the film shows Beetlejuice. Others believe their minds link the odd name of the star to the strange nature of the film and merged the two. Over time, the false memory took hold. This detail has sparked endless discussions among fans. They look through old collections, search the internet, and compare notes, hoping to find proof that the movie was once called Beetlejuice. But no one finds that proof. The Mandela effect shows how the brain can play tricks, especially when something unusual like this name is involved. What makes this case so interesting is how small the change is, and yet how firmly people believe in it. The spelling of a single word becomes part of a shared memory that doesn't match reality. Some people say it's because of how the mind fills in gaps. The odd spelling fits the movie's strange tone, so the brain chooses it. Others believe later merchandise or fan art used the star's spelling and confused viewers. And some enjoy thinking of it as a sign that something deeper is at work, a mix-up between timelines or a small crack between worlds. Whatever the reason, the mystery of Beetlejuice's name keeps fans talking and makes them look twice at what they thought they knew. It's another reminder of how memories can change and how sure we can be about something that isn't quite true. Number 10. The Babaduk is a film that stays with you long after the credits roll. The dark, eerie mood and the strange, shadowy figure of the Babaduk make it one of the most haunting characters in modern horror. But beyond the story and the fear it inspires, there is one detail about the Babaduk that has sparked debate and confusion: the color of his coat. Many viewers remember the Babaduk wearing a coat that was dark grey or deep brown. They are certain of it. They describe scenes where the coat looked worn and faded, as if it had been sitting in an attic for years. They say the coat added to the creature's ghostly look, making him appear more like a figure from a forgotten nightmare. Some even remember the fabric looking frayed or dusty, adding to the sense that this figure did not belong in the living world. But if you watch the film again today, you'll see something different. The Babaduk's coat is solid black. There is no brown, no grey, no fading. It's a deep, dark black that stands out sharply against the muted tones of the film's setting. This discovery surprises many fans who could have sworn the coat had a different look. They wonder where this memory came from. Could it be the lighting in certain scenes that made the coat appear lighter? Could it be the grain of the film or the way shadows fell across the figure? Or is it another case of the Mandela effect, where a shared false memory takes hold and becomes as strong as the truth? The debate has led to endless discussions. Fans revisit the movie, freeze frames, and share screenshots online, trying to find any sign of the coat they remember. But the coat is always black. The Mandela effect shows us how easily the mind can change small details, especially in moments of fear. The mind fills in gaps, sharpens certain features, or softens others. In the case of the Babaduk, the coat's imagined color adds to the monster's legend. People feel they saw something that isn't there, and that feeling sticks with them. It makes the Babaduk even more mysterious, even more frightening. Some say this mix-up comes from how we expect certain monsters to look. We picture them in ragged, faded clothes, like they've been lurking in the dark for ages. Others believe it's because the Babaduk's design was inspired by old drawings or pop-up books that use different shades, and those images mixed into people's memories of the film. And of course, there are those who wonder if this is a sign of something larger, a small tear between versions of reality, where in one world the Babaduk wore black and in another he did not. The mystery of the Babaduk's coat continues to fuel conversations and theories, and it adds another layer to the unsettling power of the film. Number 9. Michael Myers is one of horror's most well-known figures. The blank white mask, paired with his slow, steady walk, makes him unforgettable. But there's a detail about his mask that has become a Mandela effect mystery. Many people remember his mask having a faint blue tint. They describe scenes where the mask catches the light and glows pale blue, adding to his eerie look. Some fans claim they saw old VHS tapes, posters, or promotional stills where the mask's color wasn't just white, but had that hint of cold, ghostly blue. They say the blue tint made him seem even more like something not of this world. But when you watch the films today, the mask is just white. Pure, pale white. There's no sign of blue, no hidden tint. This surprises many fans who were sure they saw it differently. Some wonder if the lighting in certain scenes created the illusion. Maybe old TVs or poor film quality added the blue by accident. Others think their minds filled in the detail because it matched the cold, lifeless feeling Michael gives off. Over time, the false memory took hold, and soon it felt as real as anything on screen. This mystery has led to long discussions online and among horror fans. People go back to old merchandise, posters and home videos, looking for proof of the blue tint. But no matter how hard they search, they find only the white mask. The Mandela effect shows how easily memory can change small details, especially in stories meant to scare us. A single trick of the light or a faded image can stick in the mind and become part of how we remember the whole film. In Michael's case, the imagined tint adds to his legend. It makes him seem colder, more distant, more unstoppable. Some fans believe the mask memory got mixed with later versions of the character or other horror villains. Others think it's a simple case of lighting tricks playing with people's eyes. And some like to wonder if it's something more. A hint of another reality, a world where the mask really did have that pale blue shade. Whatever the reason, the memory of Michael's mask keeps people talking and questioning what they thought they saw. It's one more example of how powerful and tricky our minds can be when fear and memory mix. Number 8. Jason Voorhees is one of horror's most famous faces. His hockey mask, towering figure, and unstoppable nature have been burned into the minds of horror fans for decades. But when people think back on Jason's earliest appearances, they often remember something that doesn't match the actual films. A surprising number of fans are sure that Jason wore his hockey mask from the very start of the Friday the 13th series. They say they remember scenes of him stepping out of the shadows with the mask on, or chasing after his victims with that chilling blank stare. Some even recall posters or VHS covers that showed Jason with his mask during the original movie. But when you look at the first film, Jason doesn't wear the hockey mask at all. The masked figure from the first movie isn't Jason, it's his mother, and she's the one behind the horror that unfolds. Jason's hockey mask doesn't appear until Friday the 13th Part 3. Before that, he used other forms of disguise, like a sack over his head. This fact surprises many people who felt certain they had seen Jason's mask right from the start. The Mandela effect has taken hold, creating a shared memory that doesn't match reality. Fans try to figure out how this false memory formed. Some believe it's because the mask became so linked to Jason's image over time that people simply placed it in the early films in their minds. Others think that posters, merchandise, or parodies blurred the lines between fact and memory. Old video covers often showed Jason in the mask, even when they weren't images from the first movie. Over time, these mixed signals created a memory that feels as real as the actual scenes. This mystery has sparked endless debates. Fans return to the films, convinced they'll spot the mask in those early scenes. But each time, they find only what was truly there. No mask, no hockey gear, just the raw beginnings of a character who would grow into a legend. The Mandela effect reminds us how easily memory can shift, especially when a character becomes larger than life. Jason's mask is so tied to his story that it's hard to separate it from the whole series, even though it arrived later. Some people believe that the memory mix-up comes from watching the films out of order or seeing highlights that focus only on the masked Jason. Others think it's simply how the mind fills in gaps to create a clear, simple image. And of course, there are those who like to wonder if this could be a sign of something more, a small shift in the timeline, or a blending of realities where in one world Jason always wore the mask. Whatever the cause, the mystery of Jason's mask continues to fascinate and unsettle. It's another example of how certain we can feel about memories that don't match the facts, and how easily fear, time, and storytelling can change what we think we know. Number 7. The Blair Witch Project is one of those films that changed horror forever. Its shaky camera work, eerie atmosphere, and the sense that something unseen was hunting the characters made it feel all too real. But beyond the fear that the movie stirs up, there's a detail that fans have debated for years: the Blair Witch symbol. If you ask people to describe it, many will tell you they remember a stick figure that wasn't simple at all. They recall it having a circle woven into the middle, or stones tied to it. Some even say they remember bones being part of the figure, or string that bound it together in a way that made it seem like a real, ancient totem. The memories are so vivid that fans claim they saw these symbols hanging in the trees, swinging in the wind, and casting shadows that made their blood run cold. But when you watch the film today, the symbol is simple. It's just sticks tied together to form a human-like shape. There are no circles, no stones, no bones, no string, just sticks. The discovery shocks many who were sure they remembered it differently. They swear they saw the more complex version, and the image lingers in their mind as clearly as any scene from the movie. The Mandela effect shows itself here again, creating a shared memory that has no proof. People debate where these details came from. Some think they saw fan art, posters, or later adaptations that added the extra features. Others believe their mind filled in the blanks, making the figure scarier to match the fear they felt during the film. This memory mix-up has led to endless discussions online and at horror conventions. Fans search for screenshots, hoping to find the figure as they remember it. But they find only the simple stick figure. The Mandela effect reminds us how easily fear and memory blend together. When our hearts race and our minds are on edge, we can lock in details that never existed. The simple stick figure is spooky enough, but in memory, it becomes something more. It becomes a totem of dread, an ancient sign of a curse, a symbol that warns of what's coming. And that makes the symbol even more powerful, even if it was never real. Some say the confusion comes from how our minds want to give shape to the things that scare us. Others think it's because of marketing or parodies that made the figure more detailed, and some like to wonder if, in another version of reality, the symbol really did have those features. The mystery of the Blair Witch symbol keeps fans thinking, searching, and questioning what they really saw. Number 6. The Silence of the Lambs gave the world one of the most chilling and unforgettable characters in film history, Hannibal Lecter. With his calm voice and piercing eyes, he left audiences deeply unsettled. But there is one detail about Hannibal that has puzzled fans for years and become a classic Mandela effect mystery. Many people swear that when Clarice Starling first meets Hannibal, he greets her with the words, "Hello, Clarice." They can hear it in his voice. They can picture the moment when he steps forward, delivering the line with a cold smile. It's quoted in books, repeated in parodies, and has become one of the most famous lines linked to the character. But when you go back and watch the film, you'll discover something surprising. Hannibal Lecter never actually says, "Hello, Clarice." His greeting is polite, but the exact line that so many remember simply isn't there. This shocks viewers who would have bet that they heard him say it. Some wonder how this memory became so strong. Could it have been planted by other movies, shows, or commercials? Could parodies and pop culture references have been so common that they rewrote what people remember from the original scene? The mystery has fueled endless discussions among fans. They rewatch the film, waiting for the line that never comes. They search through old scripts, trailers, and interviews, hoping to find proof. But the proof isn't there. The Mandela effect shows how memory and media can blend together to create something that feels real. In this case, The imagined greeting became part of Hannibal's legend. It added to his eerie charm, making his first meeting with Clarice feel even more intense than it already was. Some people believe that the mind filled in the line because it fit the mood of the scene so perfectly. Others think it was repeated so often in jokes and skits that it became locked in people's memories as if it had been there from the start. And of course, there are those who wonder if this is a sign of something larger, a glimpse into a world where Hannibal really did say those words. The mystery of Hannibal Lecter's greeting continues to fascinate and unsettle. It's a reminder that even the most famous moments can be shaped by what we expect to hear rather than what was truly said. Number 5. Pennywise the Dancing Clown, the terrifying creature from Stephen King's It, has haunted the nightmares of readers and viewers for decades. His bright costume, eerie grin, and haunting voice are unforgettable. But there's one detail about Pennywise that fans often argue about, and it has become one of the most talked about Mandela effect mysteries in the horror world. Many people clearly remember Pennywise having bright yellow eyes throughout the entire film or miniseries. They describe how those glowing yellow eyes seem to pierce through the darkness, locking onto his victims and sending chills down their spine. Fans recall specific moments where the yellow eyes seemed to glow in the sewers, or when Pennywise emerged from the shadows to lure a child. Some are so sure of this memory that they would bet on it without hesitation. But when you rewatch the films, something doesn't match these vivid memories. Pennywise's eyes change color in different scenes. Sometimes they are blue, sometimes they shift to yellow, and sometimes they are pale or almost colorless. There is no consistent yellow glow throughout the entire story, as many remember. This leaves fans puzzled. How could they have such a strong memory of Pennywise's yellow eyes when the films show something different? Some believe that key scenes where his eyes did shift to yellow were so intense that those moments left the biggest mark on their memory. Over time, the brain filled in the blanks, turning all of Pennywise's appearances into ones where those glowing yellow eyes watched from the dark. The debate about Pennywise's eyes has filled forums, comment sections, and podcasts. Fans share screenshots, rewatch scenes, and compare notes, searching for proof that what they remember is true. But again and again they find that the eyes they recall so clearly don't match what appears on screen. The Mandela effect teaches us how fear can shape memory. When we're scared, our minds may focus on the details that feel the most threatening. A monster's gaze, especially one as haunting as Pennywise's, becomes larger than life. And when that gaze feels wrong or different in hindsight, it unsettles us even more. Some believe the memory of yellow eyes became stronger thanks to posters, fan art, or even book descriptions that highlighted the yellow stare. Others think the human mind simply chose the scariest image to hold on to, and some like to wonder if, just maybe, this is a sign of something greater, that somewhere, in another version of reality, Pennywise's eyes truly did glow yellow from start to finish. Whatever the reason, the mystery of Pennywise's eyes continues to fascinate and creep out fans, making them question what they really saw and what their mind chose to remember. Number 4. Edvard Munch's The Scream is one of the most famous and haunting images in art history. The figure with wide eyes and open mouth, standing on a bridge under a blood-red sky, has become a symbol of fear and anxiety. But many people remember one detail about the painting that doesn't match what is actually on the canvas. They insist the figure's mouth is a perfect O shape, as if caught mid-scream in an endless cry of terror. They describe how the mouth seemed to draw the eye, a black void that captured the sense of dread pouring out of the painting. This memory is so strong that people feel certain they saw it with their own eyes, either in books, in museums, or on posters. But when you look at the scream, the mouth isn't a perfect circle. It's open, yes, but the shape is more irregular, more human. The mouth is uneven, almost trembling in its form, not the smooth O that so many remember. This discovery leaves viewers confused. How could they have such a clear memory of a detail that isn't there? Some believe reproductions of the painting or stylized versions on merchandise and posters exaggerated the mouth's shape over time. Others think cartoons, parodies, or pop culture references simplified the image for impact, and that version is what stayed in people's minds. This Mandela effect has sparked debates in art circles and among casual fans alike. People search through old prints, postcards, and museum catalogues, hoping to find proof of the O-shaped mouth they remember. But they only find the original painting, unchanged, with its uneven, trembling mouth. The Mandela effect shows how our minds can reshape images when emotion is involved. The terror felt when looking at the scream may have caused viewers to lock in a version of the painting that matched their feelings rather than the true form. The imagined O-shaped mouth feels cleaner, starker, and perhaps even scarier. Some think the memory comes from how we expect a scream to look. We imagine a round mouth, the classic image of a person mid-shout. Others say the countless versions of the scream in pop culture, from emojis to Halloween decorations, have created a false memory. And there are those who wonder if, in some other reality, the figure in the painting really did have that perfect O-shaped mouth. Whatever the cause, the mystery of the scream continues to make people pause and question not only what they saw, but what they felt. It is a reminder that fear can shape memory, and that even in art, what we remember may not match what is real. Number 3. Freddy Krueger, the villain from A Nightmare on Elm Street, is one of the most recognizable figures in horror. His scarred face, bladed glove, and striped sweater have made him a symbol of nightmares. But for many fans, there's a detail about Freddy's sweater that doesn't seem to match what's on screen today. People insist they remember the sweater having red and black stripes. They say they can still picture the way the dark stripes made Freddy blend into the shadows, making him seem even more threatening. They describe merchandise, posters, and even costumes they saw that matched this image. Some fans go so far as to say they remember scenes where the black stripes seemed to soak up the dim light, making Freddy's figure harder to see until it was too late. But when you go back and watch the movies, you find something different. Freddy's sweater is red and green, not red and black. The colors are faded and dark in some scenes, but they have always been red and green. This discovery shocks people who were certain they saw black stripes. How could so many fans remember it wrong? Some believe that poor lighting in certain scenes made the green look darker, almost black. Others think that Halloween costumes or bootleg merchandise might have shown Freddy with black stripes, and over time, that image took root in their minds. This mystery has led to hours of debate among horror fans. People post images from old VHS covers or costume catalogs, hoping to find proof of the black stripes they remember. But no matter how hard they look, they can't find it. The Mandela effect strikes again. It shows how small changes in memory can feel as solid as fact, especially when fear is involved. Freddy's sweater is part of what makes him frightening, so the mind may have changed the detail to fit the feeling. The darker stripes seem to match the terror he brings, so that's what people hold on to. Some fans think the mix-up comes from blending Freddy with other horror villains who do wear black. Others believe their minds simply chose the scariest version of the image and locked it in place. And some wonder if, just maybe, in another timeline, Freddy really did wear red and black. Whatever the reason, the memory of Freddy's sweater keeps people guessing and doubting what they thought they knew. It's one more example of how our memories are not always as clear as we'd like to believe. Number 2. The Exorcist is often called one of the scariest films ever made. One of the most talked about moments is when Reagan's head turns all the way around. Many people remember that scene clearly. They describe the sound of bones cracking and the shock they felt as the head spun in a full circle. It's a memory that has stayed with them for years. But when fans go back to watch the film, the head spin is not as complete as they remember. The movement is eerie, but it doesn't do a smooth, full rotation. Some believe the memory comes from later parodies that exaggerated the moment. Others think it's because the scene was so intense that the mind filled in extra details to match the fear it caused. This is another Mandela effect that leaves viewers uneasy. What they thought they saw doesn't match what's on screen. And in a film already filled with terror, that false memory adds one more layer of mystery to a story meant to haunt us. Number 1. The Shining gave us some of the most chilling scenes in movie history. One line from the film is so famous that people quote it without thinking twice. "Here's Johnny," Jack Nicholson shouts as he breaks through the bathroom door. But here's where the Mandela effect steps in. Some viewers insist they remember the line as, "Here's Johnny Boy," or just "Johnny Boy." They describe hearing it in that same unhinged voice, burned into their memories as part of the terrifying moment. But in truth, the line is simply, "Here's Johnny, there's no boy," added, "There never was." Fans who go back to watch the scene are surprised at how certain they were about what they thought they heard. Some believe that parodies and retellings over the years added the extra word and helped plant the false memory. Others think it's because Johnny Boy just sounds like something that would fit Jack's wild performance. This small shift is one more reminder of how memories can change over time. A single word added or dropped can change how we remember a scene, and in the case of The Shining, that change adds a new layer of unease to a moment already filled with dread. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe and to like the video.